process. The committee welcomes the public's attendance tonight via the Zoom webinar platform or streaming on YouTube, but given the preliminary and informal nature of this presentation, public comment is not being sought at this time. If this proposal does proceed to the formal submission process, members of the public will have numerous opportunities to address the city's Planning and Zoning Commission and/or City Council regarding it at that time. The committee would like to thank you for your attendance at tonight's meeting. Can I get a roll call of commission members, please?
Councilmember Galani.
Here.
Councilmember Albers.
Here.
Councilmember Marshall.
Present.
Mayor Garetano.
Here.
And Chair Beatty.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does the Department of Planning have any opening comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair. First and foremost, thanks to all of you for attending today. We do appreciate it. Obviously, these are meetings on an as-need basis, so we know that sometimes we're asking you to kind of do things and squeeze them in, so thank you very much. As part of the packet of information that's been prepared tonight, the department included in that packet the following items. We have the agenda, obviously, and then the bylaws associated with this particular committee. So if there are any questions regarding process, we have those handy. Along with that, the department included the new workplace State Route 100-109 sub-district map that showed the 10 properties that were recently the land use category was modified to accommodate quick serve restaurants and similar types of uses as a potential use, which was not the case for many, many years of the town center plan. We also included the ordinance that was approved by City Council that memorialized that particular action. And in that packet too is the letter of recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission if you wanted to kind of see how it progressed from the public hearing to that recommendation. There are two aerials that Mr. Newberry provided to kind of reference the property relative to the general area and then the more specific detailed location. And then finally, there is an aerial with plan details from the two entities that will be presenting tonight. And the final item in the packet is the site development plan that was approved for Main Street Crossing. And from that perspective, you can see the lots as they were when the platting occurred back in the latter part of 2018 or 2019, as I recall. So if there's any questions on any of those items, Mr. Newberry and I'd be glad to answer them. And we do appreciate Mr. Brown being here as our traffic expert. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vunich. Would the petitioner like to present their proposal?
Yes. Is Mike Pettit also on the call?
He is online. He is muted.
Okay, that's fine. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity here to introduce myself. First and foremost, my name is Craig Kaiser. I'm with Ridge Properties. I've been a commercial real estate developer for the past 23 years, developing retail from large box to junior box to ground up development on a single tenant basis. I'm a resident of the city of Wildwood. I moved here about 3 years ago. I reside in Homestead Estates. I gotta tell you, my family and I love it here. Great community, and obviously a part of what I do for a living is work with city leadership, and I look forward to working with all of you on this initiative. But we put this particular piece of land under contract almost about a month ago. Met with Joe initially. Mike and I met with Joe initially just to kind of just briefly introduce kind of the vision we have behind this development, and really truly trying to obviously being a part of this community the past 3 years, just understanding kind of it's an underserved area with especially with some convenience aspects of for the residents within this community. So we're looking to bring some QSR right now. This particular site plan has obviously a QSR on the northern lot and a car wash on the southern lot. We are in discussions, and obviously there's interest on both of these users at the moment. At the same time, we're also going to begin marketing our development efforts and obviously in particular the opportunity here in Wildwood. So Mike Pettit is also a resident of the city of Wildwood. He's is my listing agent for the property. Mike does a lot of very similar things that I do. I'm just a developer, and he's a broker. He has great relationships with a lot of retail and QSR end users. We've been doing this for quite some time, and Mike's also. I don't know if I did mention this, but he's a neighbor of mine. He lives and resides in Homestead Estates as well. So we're excited to. First and foremost, we travel a lot. We do a lot of business outside of the state of Missouri in particular. We're excited potentially about doing something here kind of in our backyard, if you will. So, with that being said, as I go into new endeavors, and obviously this is the first time I've done something with try to do something here in the city of Wildwood. I always like to try to, because timing and obviously timing and cost and development up front is always I would say a challenge, right? To one, understand the city process, understand obviously we're going to be able to garner support or not. And then really trying to, because I have obviously a certain amount of time to conduct my due diligence within the purchase and sale agreement. And that's kind of initially why we met with Joe, just so I can get a good understanding of the city process. Obviously, this is what is the beginning of the process. I would tell you that we've done a lot of development. I take pride in what I do, what I invest in, and frankly, greater pride in economic development. It's one of the, I guess, the meaning behind the purpose of my career is not just I love to build things, but I love to build relationships. I love to come in and make an impact into the cities, inform the relationships with the city leaderships to, make a difference in the community. And I will tell you, I don't do anything. If I do anything, I go above and beyond and make sure that the site, when it's said and done, is not just satisfies the scope of work and what the city approved during their review and approval process, but I take great pleasure, frankly, in beautification. So, and I would tell you, the city of Wildwood has done a fantastic job. I think Joe told me he was been there for 30 years, right? So, and obviously everybody else along the way. To shape this community and honestly to set it apart from other communities within the St. Louis County region. I was pretty much a South County boy up until about 3 years ago. So I lived in Oakville for 47, I'll be 50, so 47 years. And this is, like I said, this has been a great experience for my family, and I'm looking to do something here to hopefully bring a great benefit on an economic standpoint to the city, and obviously on a convenience standpoint to the residents.
Thank you. So it's my understanding that you don't have any specific tenants lined up just yet, but just interested parties.
That is true. Yes. We basically just embarked on our engagement. We're very well aware of the market voids, right? So, Mike and I have already gone through what we call an out study, and frankly, what when you go out to the public, everybody has an idea, right, on what they want and what they like to see there. And we know going into as a developer, I know I'm not here, you can't please everybody, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so I think the most important thing is to perform a quality development that's going to improve the city of Wildwood, first and foremost.
Mhm.
Um, but furthermore, Dave, I would tell you that the two that we're showing here on the site plan are very highly interested. We have, I would say, commenced our engagement with them about 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and really, I can't further the engagement because I need to I need to garner some comfort level, right? So, because I mean, right
You need
now,
to know there won't be roadblocks.
right. I want to make sure we're aligned. If we're not aligned, where do we need to find that proper alignment? And then also, I'm sitting on proposals. I'm ready to go and start spending money when I reach that comfort level, right? So, like once again, this is a new experience for me after doing this for 23 years because I'm doing it in the city of Wildwood, and I've never developed in the city of Wildwood at this point, right? So I want to get the comfort level there, and then ultimately, once I do, then yeah, I'm sitting on a couple proposals right now, and uh, quite a few dollars, six-figure uh, number there for civil engineering, just site assessment and the due diligence that I need to perform in regards to all of my studies, right? My ALTA surveys, environmental phase ones, geotechnical studies. We will obviously engage with the utility companies. We'll get utility locates out there. I get my civil engineers starting out there doing field work. And then ultimately, you know, uh, I'll understand what it's going to cost to perform the horizontal development aspect first, right? So
Mhm.
grading, all utility infrastructure, access, any internal uh, maybe improvements that might be needed on Main Street, and then also understanding, you know, retaining wall work to landscaping plan to everything to where I understand what my cost is going to be just on the horizontal side of things. I can,
Mhm.
and why I'm giving you all this description is because, you know, the next step in our engagement, in particular with these two, is, of course, they want pricing from us, right? They
Right.
want to know what's going to cost them. Well, I can't give that to them until I go through this entire exercise. And this entire exercise will take me probably about 2 to 3 months to get to that point. I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. When it comes to end users, I do have a high level of confidence in the engagements that we're in with these two. And the reason being is because we've done many deals with them in the past. So we know them, and we're confident we can get these two deals done. But like I said, we're not going to put all our eggs in one basket. We're going to go out and do our marketing efforts. Mike's leading that charge, and I think once we're at that comfort level to go public with a development opportunity for other end users consideration, I of course will get some additional interest. I'm always going to be looking at, obviously, I have a cost, I have a return I have to make. I have, obviously, I'm at 100% risk. Uh, the economics of deals are always important to everybody,
Yeah.
but especially the one that's taking on the 100% risk, right? Which is me. Um, so hopefully that gives you more than the explanation or answer you're looking for, Dave.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. Does anyone else on the committee have any comments?
I was going to ask in relation to a couple things. One being the car wash over there, obviously backing up to the neighborhood that's just adjacent to it on both sides, actually. What is and I don't know if you've done a car wash previously this close to residential, developments, but what is the situation relating to the noise, like with vacuums and the other equipment going that would potentially cause a disturbance to the residents in that area? That was my first question. And secondly, regarding the restaurant on the other side, are the types of engagements you're talking about, or I know you can't say who it is or whatnot, but what is the timeline as far as like, when they're operating? Are they open really late at night? And that kind of thing that would drive additional traffic and potential noise for those residents, or is it some type of like a coffee shop or something in a different genre that would not be open, in the evening or late type thing?
Sure. Couple questions there, but I'll start with and if Mike's able to chime in, I'm gonna in particular I focus in on the site planning. All right, I'll start with the car wash, and as far as car wash, as far as the operations and hours of operations, Mike represents both of these end users on a tenant representation side of things. He's obviously representing me on a developer broker agency relationship through a listing agreement that I have with him and his company. But so to start off, I'll start off with the car wash. We felt like this site is really ideal. I mean, it provides a natural landscape, a barrier with the trees and overgrown brush along the drainage way, creek bed way there. I would tell you, we're very mindful of the positioning, how we flip buildings, how we, and we did this. So we're like, when you talk about the hand or the blowers, Mike has the information of, like, I will tell you this when we talk about a car wash, let me say this first and foremost, because I think it's prudent. This is the best operating car wash business that I know. I've known a lot of them. Not only that, they're meticulous when it comes to how they maintain their property, and how they continuously put money into their business operation and into the property to keep it very clean and meticulous. They're a national, they're growing fairly well across the country, and they, like I said, an outstanding operator. So for all that's worth, I think, I think sometimes people have a perceived notion, maybe negative, about car washes, but it is a convenience to the community, frankly.
I can give you a couple examples. For instance, their employees are required to lock their phones up upon arrival at work. They're not allowed to show tattoos or piercings. Recently, a manager was terminated for smoking on the premises. But the real thing I tell people is go Street View any location. They're in 13 states, 275 washes, all corporately owned, about $1 billion market cap on the company. But they are, if you Street View any of them, you'll see stripes in the lawn. I was with them one time, I think it was in Wichita, and the building was 2 years old, and he ordered for it to be repainted. It did not need to be repainted, in my opinion, but in his opinion, it did, just to make it look good. So that's, and the other thing about the orientation of that wash in particular, the tree line is a buffer. Also, the green space dedication south of it, we could have probably fit a coffee kiosk on there. Access was a little bit questionable. And we're like, instead of trying to squeeze this in, let's space it out, especially with the wash. Because obviously, having done a lot of these, I get the complaint, but on the orientation of that wash, we're purposely pointing it at the acreage south of the McKelvey development where it's predominantly floodplain, because the blowers are the noise. The vacs really aren't that loud. It's the blowers. And we point the blowers at the floodplain on purpose just to kind of give you some background on how we fiddled around with the site plan a little bit.
Any further questions on the car wash site plan?
This is Cliff Albers. I have a couple things if,
Yeah, go ahead, Cliff.
so I got three things. First, the entrances to both locations, depending on how popular they are we in danger of having traffic spill out onto 109 if there is a wait to get in the places? That's my first thing. And I know this is a upscale car wash, but there are car washes at the two gas stations right here, the Amoco, no, the BP, and I think it's the Phillips across the street. And then there's another one up at the mobile station across from Schnucks. Just to mention, we have a few car washes in the area already. And I know the residents in both Canberry and Main Street Crossing have voiced complaints about water pressure. So I don't know, especially with the car wash, how this would affect any of those concerns. And those are my three things to bring up right now.
Thank you, Cliff. And I live about 2 blocks south of where this is going to go in, and I also have those water pressure concerns. But Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the line for at least Viola Gill, that's just a spur off of Old Manchester, and would this enable us to help get connected into the loop to help the water pressure?
Mr. Chair, I don't know yet, but Mr. Brown and I've met with Missouri American Water Company over the course of the last year or so, and there is a major upgrade that's planned, and they're going to create a loop that, for the most part, will follow Route 100 out west to around Wild Horse Creek Road, then loop back along Manchester Road to serve all of this area, plus properties east of Route 109 between those two major roadways. So it's not imminent, but there is a plan. And that's one of the things we look at with all of our rezonings in this area, is getting input from Missouri American Water Company to make sure that if we do have housing or businesses, that we have ample water to serve them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
So, wait, Mike, do you want to speak to, I mean, as far as the traffic generation and maybe concern of the issues of ingress and egress?
Sure.
Do you talk about the water first? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, the water, I can get you like real specific numbers, but they have a huge reclamation portion of their wash. Basically, most of the wash is filtered water that's recycled, and I think the final like 15% is fresh water. Just make sure customers leave with no residue whatsoever. But then to address the traffic question, so if you look at the site plans, we programmed stacking into the site plans to hopefully address that issue. But to your point, we did contemplate curb cuts closer to the further east, I guess we'll say, but it gets closer to the residents. So it's really us trying to be conscious of keeping the entry and exiting traffic with flash of headlights closer to the roundabout at 109, where that, lighting visual is already going on. But by all means, we could be open to moving that. Joe mentioned that too, I think, during our prelim meeting. But it was really just to kind of keep everything up towards the road and away from the residents. And you'll notice the stacking queues are pretty deep, in particular on the QSR. You have to like loop around the north end and come down the west. So that would afford it, a dual lane stack converging to a single, which I forget the exact car count, but I'm guessing it's in the 15 to 20 range, which would be a very packed
Yeah, and we were
QSR.
cognizant of, especially in the QSR, we were kind of cognizant of the traffic, just, the functionality. And so we ended up decided to do an access point, or propose an access point, I should say, off of Canberry as well. And because there's obviously additional cost to that, especially that's a drainage way too. We have full intentions, if we get the approvals that we need, we're going to clean that side of the property up. We're gonna probably, and we'll put a new fence up, and we're just gonna beautify it. It looks terrible right now.
You're not wrong about that.
So that will all be kind of part of obviously our plans, in particular landscaping plan. Now I will tell you, I'm not sure if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I will mention this, and depending on, we'll probably two different submittals, application submittals. The first submittal will be for site work on both parcels, and then we'll come in behind with building application submittals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mr. Vinich, I believe that this is already zoned for commercial. What will have to go through planning and zoning?
Mr. Chair, actually, it's non-urban resident district zoning. We didn't change the zoning at the time we did the platting of Main Street Crossing.
Oh, okay.
And the rationale was, usually we use the plan district, the C8, and we didn't have a plan to create the ordinance, and to just generally designate it commercial just wasn't something that the department nor the commission nor city council thought was appropriate. We wanted to wait until we had something that we could look at, use that plan if it's acceptable to create the ordinance, and then ensure that we have the guarantees that we all want, including the developer.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the committee? Mayor Garetano?
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, Chair, and thanks to the petitioners who are here tonight providing an overview of this concept plan. And I appreciate you taking advantage of this meeting, because this is an opportunity for you to hear feedback, and therefore you can get a good sense of what you're looking at if it's something that you decide to move forward with. We started this type of meeting back around 2018 or 2017 as a way for not only petitioners like yourselves to be able to get feedback, but it's a good opportunity for residents to hear about a concept plan that might be coming down the road. So with this, I mean, I appreciate your interest in bringing in some commercial type amenities to the area. We are looking at our Wildwood Town Center, which is about 2% of the area of the whole state, of the whole city. And so the town center, being 800 acres in size, is specifically designated as the place for higher density and for commercial development. And as you can see, when you're driving through, being residents of Wildwood yourselves. So we have an area called the Downtown District in the town center. This is not in the Downtown District, but east of here, when you get towards the area of Wildwood City Hall, and then east of that area all the way to Taylor and into the Deerberg Center, those are all the Downtown District areas. And that's our most highest density area. You'll notice it, obviously, when you go through there. We have commercial. It's actually the only area that we allow drive-throughs until most recently, where we've looked at several parcels for the option to do drive-through, which certainly opens it up. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, this is the outlined in red is the town center Everything inside the red is town center. Everything outside is not town center. So, I appreciate that because the whole idea about town center is to have walkable amenities for residents. And that's why people come to move here in neighborhoods like Canterbury, where you can just step out of your home, be able to walk and hopefully one day walk all the way through town center. You know, the things that I probably have some reservations and some concerns about, and if you could please maybe go back to that prior slide, the one that showed, yes, thank you very much. And this has already been mentioned before, is that car washes can be loud, and being right next to the homes in Main Street Crossing, which are those homes right there, and even Canterbury, that I have a lot of concerns, the noise from vacuums, the dryers, those would be something that I would be extremely concerned about. The drive-through, also the stacking of cars, especially when you look at, a heavy snow event where we get a lot of salt on the roads. It's pretty typical to drive by some of the more popular car washes and see those cars stacked. So I do wonder about that, and seeing that if the usable space within that parcel was used up, it would then overflow into Main Street. Also the two businesses there, the car wash that you're proposing, the restaurant, and it's just the lighting from those type of businesses could disrupt the kind of neighborhood ambiance that you're kind of right next to at night. So that would be a concern of mine, as well as what hours you would be operating these businesses. The other thing is, in Wildwood, you probably noticed this, there is a certain look and feel when you go into our town center. You could see it when you look at the Wildwood Hotel, or you go into the Deerberg Shopping Center, or you look at even the architecture of the other buildings in the town center, like the movie theater or City Hall or the American Village, which is the senior home. There's a certain standard, a high standard, a high bar we hold. And it's hard to see what you have here with this, because I don't think our residents, and certainly from an architectural perspective, we're going to want to see things kind of look like how they look in other areas. I mean, we want to keep that unique feel to it. And you see it even in other communities in West County. If you go, you will see that. Some communities do a really good job at it. We've been doing a really good job at it, and I don't think we want to let go of that. So whatever gets proposed, I think, regardless of whether it's a car wash or restaurant, I'm always looking to see, is there a good, high quality material? Does it look and feel different? With the restaurant, looking at the drive-through there, from a perspective of Wildwood, if you go down the road on Route 100 and you go east, and you don't have to go too far, you'll enter into the next neighboring city, Ellisville, and it's one drive-through after another. You get bombarded with drive-throughs compared to what we have in Wildwood. And certainly I think that's something that I think we want to manage in Wildwood, not to get to that point where it's like that, because Wildwood's done such a good job preserving our city, the look, the feel like that. So whatever gets proposed is going to go through a very detailed, scrutiny, to look at what it is. So I think you've gotten some feedback from folks here. I know the folks really well over in Main Street and Canterbury. I was their council member for 10 years. I was their council member before even the newer homes were built in Canterbury, when it was still open land, except for the townhomes. I was council member 2015. I think that's around the time when we started seeing Main Street Crossing. I remember when that was a field. So I've gotten to know those people really well. And if you've kind of been in tune and watching recent proposals that have come up that neighbor these neighborhoods, they're a very engaged group of people. They really truly care about what's around them. They love Wildwood. They want to really protect their assets and their property. And so I don't think they'll be afraid of holding back how they feel, because I've seen them, and they really do care about the community. And so for anyone, this is my advice, whether it's you guys or anyone, my advice is you have to talk to those neighborhoods, their HOAs, and get them on board.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that, you've addressed their concerns, their questions, and because the voice of the HOA holds weight. We've always said it at City Hall. In fact, that's how I got involved. I was never intending to be a council person or where I am today as mayor. And so these folks have gone through a lot in trying to shape their neighborhoods and taking over their HOAs and all. So, the feedback I hear, I share this feedback, is I feel uneasy about what we're looking at here. And again, I don't say to discourage you from thinking of other ideas, but I think you need to sell the people on something that's going to be an asset to the community and not something that could create a disturbance to the community. So I know from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're very ambitious and you're ready to move quickly. I can assure you that doesn't happen so quickly in Wildwood. I think we're very intentional about going through a very detailed process here. And that's why I think Wildwood is Wildwood the way it is. Again, I mean, just that seeing what's in front of me right now, I will say I'm not excited about it. I think there has to be something unique about what you're proposing. And when I see a restaurant, I don't know what kind of restaurant or what it is. Is it just typical fast food restaurant? Or are you thinking of a concept, something that's very unique? And maybe to give you some thought, if you're going to put something maybe next to a residential neighborhood, I think it has to be something that kind of blends in with the area, not something that sticks out or creates a disturbance. And it's like, you want something that architecturally kind of blends in, fits in. Again, I don't know that because we're only looking at this here, but also something that, is unique, just like Wildwood is unique. And again, the car wash, again, I think there's a lot of questions about that. But I know you mentioned the way you've designed it, that you're saying you're trying to address the noise concerns. But I think that I would start with first reaching out to the HOA and getting their feedback. But again, at this point right now, just don't feel comfortable providing any kind of endorsement for this. I'm being honest with you. I'm just trying to give you feedback. Joe Vunish can tell you I'm usually a lot harsher in these meetings. Sometimes I even just drop off. But again, I really appreciate the interest, but I think knowing the community there, and at least the feedback I've gotten, I think they will challenge something that creates a disturbance in their area.
Well, Mayor, first and foremost, I appreciate your candor and I appreciate your guidance. Completely understand. I obviously this is a very preliminary plan, right? I mean, I understand, especially on the QSR site, we got cut and fill. I mean, there's plans, at least the vision in my head is how we're going to create additional buffers from the residents community behind us. It will have a little bit of a hillside. We can put some tree, so there's a tremendous amount of enhancements that would go into our design and planning and design for these. I always once again appreciate what residents are going to want, and honestly, what's feasible from an economic standpoint. I understand the drive-through may concerns, but drive-throughs obviously produce. It's a convenience, and I frankly, those restaurants that have drive-throughs produce greater amount of sales, which also, so there's always going to be pros and cons. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I've went up again. All I'm trying to do is good, right? So just know this. Everybody just, I'm not the enemy. I am a resident of the city of Wildwood too, but I also take that into, if this was, in another city and state that I'm doing a development in, if I'm going to invest in a community, I'm investing all of myself into that community, and I'm not a developer that's just going to do a development and leave and not care, what I leave behind. Once again, I take pride in it, but all that stuff is really, doesn't matter when it comes to the public, right? They're going to feel strong about what they feel strong in, because where they invested their dollars, where they invested their livelihood, right? And in the location that they chose to invest that livelihood, which is near a commercial corridor, right? Full intentions, 100%, Mayor. We're not looking to, we're looking to conform. I mean, knew that going in. I mean, why, obviously, been in this long enough to know that I did not read your guys' building, standards, requirements, what have you, but I've done enough development in towns, I would say cities, that want everything to be all brick, and my client wants, EIFS and some stone, accents and stuff like that. So we conform, but we know that going in. I don't like to waste time. I don't like to waste, my time or anybody's time. So moreover, my client's time too, right? So, and there's some national and regional end users that will not, pivot away from their prototypical building. That's their brand. That's a part of their recognition. And so, we cross those guys off the list, right? It narrows our pool. The more our pool gets narrowed, and that pool is who can afford it too, who's willing to pay, because this is going to be a more expensive site. I knew going in, not just the land value, the site work's going to be a tremendous amount of money. I'm estimating with these two users plus everything else, total project development project cost is going to be around $12 to $15 million. All right. So we're very calculated, very aware. There is a reputation out there too from those that we interface within the real estate community, from engineers to you name it. And you know what? I actually applaud it once again, because there's a reason why I also will tell you on a personal level. I'm talking more personal, but I am a resident, and I love, and every project I do, Mike will attest. It's all about beautification. It's and keeping not just the property, but serving the community and the way that the community needs to be served, so everybody's property value hopefully continues just to rise. We obviously, things go on with the neighborhood associations and stuff like that, like solar panels, people want to put solar panels on the roof. Like, I think aesthetically that doesn't look good. I'm not going to put solar panels on my commercial buildings, because aesthetically, I don't think it looks good. I think it's an eyesore. I think it honestly depreciates its value. So there's a lot of things that we look at, and I know we're going to go up, and I appreciate. You're not, I guess, comfortable with what you're seeing right now. I'm not either. I look at a plan, and it's very, very basic. If we came up with a plan, even with these two end users, it would conform to what the city standards are. Now, is it going to be accepted with the public? Well, I don't, there's not one development I've ever done in the past 23 years that I got 100% of acceptance from the public, even from, city leadership. But after I got that the majority vote, and I did what I did, and I said I did what I said I was going to do. Everybody welcomes up to it. It's just the nature of my business, frankly. So, only here to do good and make a positive impact, sir. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And one thing I didn't mention is, and I kind of started off by this, is that, we have like the downtown district. And I think, easily, I think like the restaurant concept that you have there, like in the downtown district, I don't think there would probably be any challenge or question about it, right? We have already restaurants with drive-through, like the bread company. We even had, fast food at one time, which was formerly a Jack in the Box with the drive-through. But, again, those areas don't, like when you look at the downtown district, you don't have any like home adjacent to it. So it makes it more flexible to work with. Like some of those are ideal because you don't have that. But when you're bordering up against folks that live there and go to sleep at night, they're worried about like, are they going to go to bed at night hearing vacuums and things like that? So I think it's only fair. I have to bring that up. I have to bring that up because I have to look out for those residents and other folks here have mentioned that concern as well. So again, that's why I think there is going to be there's going to be even more scrutiny because these lots are somewhat surrounded already by commercial by residents. Now there is 2 gas stations there, so we acknowledge there is some commercial there. But I'll tell you, even over the past years, I've gotten complaints about the gas station, especially the one on the east side of 109. Over the years, I haven't gotten any most recently, but there have been issues. I think we want to definitely try to maintain or improve the quality of life. I think that's one thing that Wildwood does a really good job is that it does listen to its people. We're very responsive to our residents, and hopefully you've seen that as well. And so, that's why we're sharing this feedback with you. And then it's up to you. That's your decision, what you do with it. Certainly, we hope you listen to the feedback. But I think that's very helpful. And again, too, in the absence of information, like knowing even like a conceptual drawing, it's sometimes an issue where, folks just sometimes assume the worst and the worst scenario. So I think too, not knowing some things or not knowing what to expect or what it is exactly, or what kind of traffic volumes you're going to see, it just makes it challenging. It makes it difficult. So, I want you to know that, but, do know the history that, it's a very tight-knit community that definitely makes its feelings known as to how they feel about something. And, we've seen that already. And certainly, residents have that right to do that. So, but like I said, I still stand kind of where I still feel uneasy about it because I just don't, given the proximity to the residences and what you're proposing there.
Well, once again, I thank you, and everything's received and noted. So thank you very much.
Just to address a couple things, the 2 top prospects I would say are very much chameleons as far as their architecture goes. I can think of an instance with the QSR where we had to do a false second floor in metropolitan Nashville recently. And it's just dead. There's nothing up there, but aesthetically they had to do it to garner municipal approval. The Wash can also adapt their architectural standards, but they have some tower elements that they like. It just be wrapped in like the tan I'm guessing the tan brick and the limestone accents I see through the town center there. But certainly, Joe, if you have specs on any of the kind of go-to color schematics, that'd be very helpful to have early on so we can kind of set the tone with our users.
Be glad to provide that.
And then when we do the layouts on the, particularly on the one QSR pad closer to the BP, we put it up on the road away from the homes. While we do that, we garner the distance. We actually go a lot lower on the elevation too. I think we're talking about nearly 15 feet from where those residents are above us down to where the finished floor elevation would be of the QSR pad. So there's a couple distance items in play that we've been thinking about. Also, the speaker box, we kind of directed north towards the gas station rather than on the east side towards the home. So just want you to recognize we are.
Right. What's the majority of QSR's hours of operation? That was a question that was asked before that we did not answer yet.
So
You're cutting out really bad, Mr.
7
Pettit.
to probably 10 or 11. I'm sorry, I'm driving in the middle of Alabama here. I'm thinking it's 7 to 11 for the QSR, but I know for a fact the wash is 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it will not be, late into bedtimes.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
I'll mute myself. Sorry, guys.
Yep,
You're
thank you.
good. Thank you. Yeah, and do we get complaints about the noise from the wash at the BP station currently?
Over time, we've gotten complaints from Canberry.
Mhm.
We orientated the wash, obviously, north and south so that it wouldn't go east. And for the most part, they're supposed to keep the doors closed when the car is inside the wash unit itself.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's being done, but the Phillips 66, there's nothing around it right now, so no,
Right.
not gotten any complaints about the operation of their car wash.
Okay. Yeah, because the wash at the BP station, I'm pretty sure that's right up against some of those Canberra units. And there'll definitely be a lot more space here.
Well, and again, just historically, the BP Amoco station predated Wildwood. It
Right.
was there. They came in right after the incorporation wanting to expand, and they needed a car wash. And
Mhm.
at that time, we had yet to see the Canberry development. So
Right.
sequencing, it was BP Amoco, then Canberry.
Oh, I'm well aware, but yeah. But I know there's not much distance there between the two buildings. A lot less than's going to be here, I feel like.
Very much so. Very
Mhm.
much so.
And just from my perspective, after COVID and I started being able to work from home a few days a week, I started patronizing the former Lion's Choice at the Phillips 66. I was real disappointed when that shut down because now granted, their prices have gone up a fair amount, but for reasonable, quick food, I basically have to leave Wildwood. So I may be in the minority, but I would personally love something I can walk to.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being totally honest here, I have a 15-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and they love two particular QSR drive-throughs, and I had to go 13 minutes to get to them, and that's honestly where the light bulb popped in my head. I was trying to do a Primrose school here. They passed on it and just started, thinking about what we needed, and that's really how we got there, just the practicality of it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The Top Prospect is not some unique destination one. There's thousands of them. So but I think it serves a very practical role in the city.
Well, it's also, retain, the leakage, the sales leakage. Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity because there's few opportunities. It's like when the mayor was speaking, it's like, the only opportunity is along 109. Every single commercial user would love to be on 100 rather than 109 because of the traffic count. But at the same time, you know, few opportunity, and I think the opportunity with the things that we have to continue to explore, and we will be enhancing upon based on the feedback, and also meeting with the HOA members with both subdivisions. I'm excited about it, not just the opportunity if it all can work out. I understand some of the challenges that have been addressed here. But I think as we enhance upon things, and I think the comfort level will increase. So
All right. Well, we've been going for an hour now, and I do have to teach in about 15 minutes and would like to get a slice of the pizza I brought home. So, is there any final discussion before we adjourn?
Yeah, David,
Yes, sir.
just one quick comment. I was there when Canberry came in to build after the gas station.
Mhm.
And the mayor's right. The people, when there's nothing there, then how can you do this to me? But you guys do this on a professional basis. The water line was a big concern. Everybody out there is complaining about water. So, and I certainly understand the efficiency of the car wash, but I think the roundabout really opens up a lot of opportunity to deal with the traffic issues that would be there. But it will be tough because everybody, it's kind of a drawbridge mentality. Once I get my house, no one else can have one. But those lots have been there, as we all know, for 30 years. And I just think that if it's done right, it could be very successful. It's going to be a tough one. But the first thing, as soon as something comes out, they're all going to talk about water pressure. So I would deal with that one. Right. And I know that you could probably run the car wash off of a garden hose, but that's not their issue. The issue is any kind of development creates a challenge. And I don't think their water pressure has anything to do with any of the development will be going in. But overall, it will be challenging. I would also be aware of the city sign provisions as you get on into the development there. It is along the trail, but the sign regulations might be a little bit different than what you've had in some of the other locations. That's it for me. I wish you the best of luck if you try and put something together.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Marshall. Anything else or a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Seconded by Councilman Galani. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? All right. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.